Hello everybody. Today we are going to review the movie Reminiscence. Now, I did just go see this in theaters. I got home about an hour and a half ago. But I was trying to think of actually some stuff to say to really dive into this movie. And I was just kind of at a loss for words, I guess. I don't really know. Sometimes it takes me a while to just get into the filming zone, even if I do still have stuff to say about the movie. So this was actually kind of a very interesting concept. Kind of reminded me of like Inception in a way, but instead of going back into people's dreams, you were just reliving old memories. So I guess this is sort of it's a post-apocalyptic film, I suppose, in a sense. So it does take place in Florida, part of the movie, and New Orleans as well. It seems that the world is sinking slowly, and this is actually kind of a reality for Florida, I guess, because it is slowly sinking into the ground. So who knows how long this could actually be before it is a reality. So I would say this isn't too far into the future. So there's about 3 different areas to Florida now. So there's obviously the sunken coast is what they call it, where it's kind of like, I guess they're hanging on to the last little bit of whatever's left out there. Some of the people are still living out there. Then there's, I guess, the lower kind of land type thing that's below the water level now. That's being blocked off by this big, huge wall. But it is slowly, the water is slowly still rising, right? So the water's kind of coming over the wall, and you can see it slowly starting to flood in there as well. And then there's the richer upper class people who live in the dry lands, who have built this huge like dam around them that kind of just drowns out everybody else. So those would be the richest of the rich people, the elites, I guess is what you could call them, really. So I would say that Hugh Jackman's character, Nick Bannister, is middle class, and I would say the people that live on the sunken coast are clearly the lower class people, and the drylands people are the higher class. So you have that kind of diversity throughout the movie too. And I guess New Orleans is like, kind of like, I don't really know whether it's, what would it be considered? Definitely the lower class people, I guess, came from there, and it seems like it's kind of become like a trading town for drugs and everything else. Hugh Jackman's character Nick and Thandwi Newton? I can't really remember. Plays Emily Watts Saunders. And we call her Watts throughout the movie. So Nick and Watts run this company. I'm not really sure what the company name was, but they run this program called Reminiscence, and it was originally after the what's he call it? Border Wars, I think is what he refers to it as in the beginning of the movie. They originally used it as an interrogation machine to get information out of people, to go back in their memories and find out certain things about them. But then it became used as a, I guess, nostalgia type piece. So they're getting paid. People come in and pay them to relive old memories. And sorry, but my nose is just like going crazy the last couple days. Oh my god. Can you hear that? I'm getting plugged up, I think. I'm not really sure why. Just, yeah, regular, I guess, fall-time allergies, I suppose, maybe. So anyway, finally this one girl comes in, and Hugh Jackman does narrate part of his own, like he does a little bit of narration throughout the movie too. So he actually talks about being in the machine. No, he talks about the first time he meets this girl, May, who was played by Rebecca Ferguson. And I actually didn't recognize her in the trailer, but funny thing is, she was actually the girl from the Mission Impossible movies, or at least the more recent ones, I think. Which ones was she actually in? Because that would be interesting to know. Yeah, she was in Ghost Protocol and Fallout, and I think that might have been the only two she was actually in, to be completely honest. I don't think she was in one before that. No. Okay. Yeah, so she was in the two most recent Mission Impossible movies. And I like her as an actress. She's very good. And she was good in this movie, too. Very different role for her. So she plays this... What we know about her in the beginning is she just plays this singer who plays at this club in the Sunken Coast. And then as we go along, we find out a little bit more about her and her background, because all of a sudden she's just vanished. And so Nick is trying to go through his memories to find out where she would have gone, why she left, because they were in love. And they did a very good job, actually, of keeping you, I don't know, in this weird limbo type state throughout the movie, because you didn't know what was a memory and what was actually in real time. Because yeah, they really did a good job of fooling you, and then all of a sudden he'd wake up in the machine and it'd just be him inside a memory, and he was going to eventually burn himself out. And what they call that is you just go into the memories so much that it's just your reality now, which actually does happen to had happened to one of the characters in this movie. So it was kind of sad to see that, because you're just constantly living in one part of your life and you never get to experience the rest of it, because you think your life is just that moment repeating itself, which would definitely suck. So he's slowly putting the pieces together, and then they find this... now, what was the character's name? They find this guy that works for this... Oh yes, Fox. They find this Fox character who works for this drug lord, or named Saint Joe, who was played by Daniel Wu, and Fox was played by Sam Medina. So when they're slowly putting the pieces together of his memories, and Nick is interrogating him, because he does work with the police throughout this movie to help them solve crimes, obviously. And I'm just going to blow my nose just here for a second, so forgive me. Okay, I am back. And let's continue right where we left off. Right, we were talking about Fox and his interrogation. And that's when they talked about, what was the word they used for it? It wasn't burning out. It was, I guess, if you don't walk through the memories the proper way and give them like because I guess he was dying, so Nick says to the cops that every dying person needs a happy memory, so he tries a different approach about it, like asking him if he likes parties, and that's how they find this guy that they're actually looking for, Saint Joe, in some of his memories. And it seems that May is actually in these memories. So I guess she was in New Orleans at one point in her life, and now Nick is kind of wondering who she was when he wasn't there with her, and that's kind of what keeps going through his head, like, who was she when she wasn't with me, sort of thing. So yeah, it was kind of crazy. Then we get into this... So there's this guy named Cyrus Booth in one of... oh God, I totally lost my train of thought there on his name. In one of Fox Memories. So now we're looking for this Cyrus Booth character plus May in the end of it all, because when he goes looking for this one woman that came in all the time, Elsa, I guess she was sleeping with this man, Walter Sylvan, I do believe, was what was going on. And his other wife was Tamara Sylvan, played by Marina de Tavira, and Walter Sylvan was played by Brett Cullen, and Elsa was played by Angela Sarafin, I do believe. And the son, Sebastian Sylvan, was played by Mohan Ari. So, we know that the father, Walter, is dying, and he can't be interrogated for his crimes because I guess I guess he has the power to not be put in the machine due to his condition, whatever he has, and probably because he's of the upper class, right? Makes sense. So his wife is actually the one that's just kind of reliving the same memory, and she does talk about Walter not liking to share or whatever at one point when Nick goes to talk to her, because I guess she just keeps living the memory of them together in this one scene from I think it was an old movie, I do believe, because that's how Nick puts the pieces together of what was going on and why May and Cyrus would have wanted the memories from Elsa, so that they could track her down and kill her and her son, because she would be the half brother to Sebastian, which is just so. I guess it was actually Sebastian that put out the hit, not Walter. I think Walter wanted to make things right, and Sebastian didn't want to share anything with his half brother, I guess, as opposed to like what they would have gotten money wise, I guess, and other things. So the son planned to just have them both killed and nothing bad would happen to them. But May comes to her senses finally after being with Cyrus for so many months and realizes that she should have just not done what she did to Nick, because she actually did truly start to fall in love with him, and she should have just killed Cyrus when she had the chance, or double-crossed him instead. But, I mean, I guess she thought she was doing what she was supposed to keep herself alive, right? So she was just following by his rules. And at one point in the memories, May tells Watts about her addiction with this drug called, oh God, what was the drug's name? Crap. I can't remember the drug's name. Anyway, basically the drug just gave you the ability to, I don't know, it kind of took away like your cares and like feelings, I guess. It was called Baca. Right. Now I remember. She was addicted to this drug called Baca when she was in New Orleans, and that's partially why she left, for sure, because she actually stole all of St. Joe's supply. So that's why she ended up coming to Florida, and then she actually did end up sleeping in this boat the one night, I guess, and somebody cut her loose, and she ended up floating into this house way out in the water, and that's where she takes the kid. Now, what was the kid's name? Oh, yes, Freddie was the kid's name, played by Roxton Garcia. So she takes Freddie out there, and that's where Nick knows that he'll be. So when he goes back to the Sylvan's house to see Sebastian, he already knows that the kid's safe, because he sent the cops out there to get the kid. and bring him back safely. Uh, and at this point, he's already found out that May has killed herself because um, she doesn't want, oh God, she doesn't want Cyrus to know where the kid is, and she actually leaves this message to Nick in Cyrus's memories as to where Freddy is, right? So he definitely puts the pieces together and goes to find Freddy, or not find Freddy himself, but I guess at least let them know that, at least let Sebastian know that he's going to go to jail for a long time for what he's done. And then he gives the three people's memories, plus I guess his own confession to Watts to take to the police. And he burns the memory of how Cyrus got his scars into his head. So that's the everlasting memory that Cyrus will relive for the rest of his life is him getting burnt and gaining some new scars because he didn't look quite the same after he had taken some of St. Joe's stash and sold it himself. So yeah, but the visual effects in this movie were really, really good, and they did a good job of keeping tricking you, because that's the whole plot. We know where he's going to go. He just goes back to relive his memories for the rest of his life until he dies, and it looks like Watts has reconnected with her daughter, which was a good thing. So I guess everybody kind of lives out their life happily, the way they wanted to. And what else can I really say about this film? The visual effects were good. The action sequences were pleasantly surprising. And Hugh Jackman still kicks ass. It kind of makes me sad that he's not going to ever, reprise his role as Wolverine, because I would really like to see him do one more movie. But we know he can't continue on the story as like Old Man Logan, that's for sure. But he could do something in the multiverse, which I think would just be awesome to see him do one more appearance as Wolverine. That's all we really need. It doesn't have to be a full-length movie. Just an appearance would be enough. But I mean, yeah. So these action scenes kind of like reminded me of Wolverine a little bit. I mean, it wasn't quite as violent, but I was like, oh damn, like he's still kicking ass. And at the very end, he really did look like Old Man Logan at the very end with the gray beard and the gray hair. So I think maybe that was kind of like a little Easter egg maybe that they threw in the movie, just to kind of be like, yeah, just remember that. Just remember who he was, I guess, maybe. Yeah, it was kind of, I thought it was just kind of funny that he looked almost exactly like it in that very end scene where he's just reliving out his memories, like all of them, with May in them, of course. But man, he goes through a lot of shit just to find, just to put the pieces together, is to find out that she has died, which would suck for him, because I'm sure he actually wanted to find her, not just find out that she had passed away. But unfortunately, I think that was the only way she felt that she could get out of this situation, because she does try to come back to him at one point, and he's just unfortunately just missed her by like seconds, because Cyrus gets to her first outside the door. And yeah, it was a really unfortunate thing that he could have, if he had just been a little bit quicker, he could have made it to her. But because she realized betraying him was probably the worst thing she could have done, and so on and so forth. But one of the things interesting that I actually found was that Watts had a romantic interest in Nick, and he didn't even really pay attention to that. He just kind of threw that off to the side, and said that in the memory he couldn't believe she just had drank and let May into the vault to find the files that she was find whatever files she was trying to steal, because they didn't know until they looked through them, right? So, yeah, because they were looking through the last names of C's and they couldn't find Elsa's because her last name was Corrine. So, very interesting. And I guess the cop must have been Avery Castillo. Yeah, was the one police officer, played by Natalie Martinez. And I can't remember who her partner was. I don't remember him just by looking at him, so I can't tell you, unfortunately, who that was. But this was a very good film. I have to give it an 8 out of 10. That's what I rated it on IMDb after I finally got signed into my account after, God, I don't know how long it's been since I've actually been in my account. But anyway, I think that's all I can say about this movie. 8 out of 10. Just the only criticism I have of this movie is the beginning of it felt really long. And maybe that was just because the first part of the story seemed super slow to get to the buildup of what was actually happening. But I still think they did a really good job of putting the pieces together of this movie. And like I said before, keeping you tricked as to when he was actually in the machine versus when he was out of it. It was easier to tell once things started to pick up and he was putting the pieces together in his memories and he was actually going out and finding the people. It was easy to be like, yes, this is no longer a memory. This is actually happening in real time. And once he found out that she wasn't actually trying to hurt him, he could truly be at peace with himself, I guess. So, but yeah, the first half of the movie was kind of slow, and I think that was maybe the only downfall to it because it felt super long. And I actually checked my phone to see the time when we were only an hour in, and I was like, oh my god, this is a 2-hour movie. So, you know, where are we going to go from here? But then it picked up with action sequences and so on and so forth. And I think he got out of a lot of situations because he had served with the military. Maybe not right on the front lines, but yeah, he definitely got out of a lot of situations due to the fact that other people seen his, I guess, tattoo to say that he had served. So, yeah, but that's all I can say about this movie. So as always, like, share, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on the film if you've seen it, and if not, definitely go out and watch it while it's in theaters. I think I'm just going to put this review out probably right away, just because it was that good of a movie, so I'm just going to throw it in randomly with, I don't know what month. I guess maybe September. I probably won't even put like an intro on this video just because it's so random. But yeah, I'm just going to put it out because I don't really think it fits with anything else. It's kind of just one of those random movies. But yeah, and that's it for now. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.